Everybody good? All right, Saturday we finished our last scrimmage of fall camp, and then Sunday came in, watched all the tape, and really kind of put fall camp behind us. And you guys had school yesterday for the first day for the fall, so they had off yesterday, and then today really turning the page, getting ready for BYU. And we'll have 9 practices, counting today's practice, to get ready for BYU. So really just kind of transitioning from fall camp mentality to now getting ready for the first game. So today was a good start. Just a lot of introductions of BYU's offense and defense, and starting to work on some of the game planning things. So that's really what we'll be focused on all week this week and next week. So with that, I'll open up for any questions.
You said 9 practices?
Yeah.
Which will get?
Yeah, we'll get 9 practices in the next 11 days. So it'll be Tuesday through Saturday this week, and then Monday through Thursday next week.
Jeff, you have a guy, Mr. Albritton, fan-pleasing style. He's now wears number 40 for 10 people. That has some meaning. What kind of role is he going to have on your team, you think?
Yeah, well, he's had a really good impact since he's gotten here, and he's a guy that our defensive guys, especially when he gets in there with that second, third group, gets coming downhill, he's tough to tackle. Overall, I think he just brings a physical nature to the way that he plays. He's still got a lot to learn, obviously, being a rookie and just kind of getting here. But we talk about making your reps count, and he's definitely done that throughout fall camp. So we'll see kind of how he transitions. We got a pretty deep running back room, but there's always room for a guy that's going to be physical and has the type of mindset that he has. So he's our mini all-star out there in 40.
Coach, you had to go to altitude last year to play Brigham Young out in Utah. They lost when they had to come down and play in Texas. You get with the heat and humidity now in early September. Big advantage for you, do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're playing here and not out there again. That's always part of it when you're traveling across the country. And I think for me, obviously I can't control their practices and where they are getting ready for the game, but we got to be ready for this heat as well. Even though we're in it every day, that doesn't make it easy. It was a warm one again today, and it's the message is we got to be able to execute at a very high level whenever it's hot and humid and all those things. And I promise you, it's going to be hot 4 o'clock come September 3rd. So there's always here's what I've learned. The best teams don't let external factors impact their success. That's ultimately where you got to get to. It's really got to be a mindset that it's how we play on this day. We can play in snow, we can play in heat, we can play on water, wherever you want to play, line it up and go. And so that overall has to be the mindset. But obviously, practicing this every day, hopefully that'll give us an advantage. Our first 3 games are going to be right here in Florida, so definitely going to be warm, and it's been warm here this last week and a half for sure.
Coach, I hit your coordinators with this question. It'd be unfair if I didn't ask you the same thing. How important is it to have that special significant other in your life when you're a coach?
Oh, yeah. Great question. That's very important. And, I was fortunate growing up as a coach's kid. And, my mom is a coach's wife. And so just watching her and, obviously it's like, there's other professions where, the one spouse may be away from the home a good bit. And this is definitely one of those. But yeah, I'm very fortunate. My wife Sarah does an awesome job. The big thing in our household this week was Savannah starting first grade, and Big Hunter started toddlers on Monday. So she had an empty nest for about 3 hours from 9 to 12 on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that's what's going on in our house. But yeah, there's no doubt coaches' wives are special people.
Jeff, when you went to BYU last year, that was a pretty hostile environment. You guys played pretty well and weathered it. Now they come here. I know there's a lot of anticipation for you guys starting the season, but what would you say about to fans, wanting to come out and support your team, how important that is to create an environment here, not only for this game, but for all games?
Yeah, I'm really excited because I feel like we're going to have a great crowd. and also a great student section. I got a chance to go speak to the students along with Gary and Yates last week at one of the events we had at the Marshall Center, and I know I get to see a lot of the freshmen this Friday night at the freshman pep rally here at Yingling Center. And then I got a chance to go speak to a big group of alumni down at the block party down in Ybor City. So everywhere that I've gone here this last month or so, there's been a lot of energy and excitement getting ready for the first game. And there's no doubt, I think we're going to have a great atmosphere, and they have a chance to have an impact on the game. When you have crowd noise, especially really all year long, but especially in the first game, there's a lot of things that have to go on, on both sides of the ball to be able to have a great crowd and great environment. Definitely will add to our opportunity for success, and I'm definitely looking forward to that.
How does this team compare, Jeff, to where your team was a year ago? What are the differences?
Yeah, well, I think there are some that I can see right now. I think ultimately, right, we got to play to really see, which ones are substantiated. But I would say the biggest thing that I've seen from a year ago to now is just the practice habits, the way the guys go every day in practice, the way they push themselves. I think my first 2 years, there was a lot of guys trying to find a way off the field, trying to find a way not to have to practice and not take reps and just kind of wait till game day. And that mindset and that culture has shifted where guys are out there pushing themselves, they're encouraging their teammates. It's not always perfect, and it never is, but just the overall mindset and work ethic, I think, has improved. And then I would say just ownership, maybe from the older guys, the leaders. Just because you're seniors don't mean you automatically take ownership like you need to of the team and demand the standard every day of yourself and your teammates. But that's what I've seen by this group. That's been a great sign of what's to come.
Jeff, as far as, given that you're less than 2 weeks until kickoff, when you look at all three phases, are they where you want them to be at this point of the preseason?
No, I'm glad we've got 11 days to get ready. There's a lot of things to get ready between now and then. Overall, have I seen enough from all three groups to give me a lot of optimism for our season? Yes. So I've seen bits and pieces. Now what we've got to do is we've got to transition kind of from that fall camp where we're just out kind of running plays versus our other USF offense, and now we've got to transition that into the game plan and understand the nuances of the game plan of what your opponent's going to do. So that's a whole nother kind of change in mindset. So today was day one introduction of BYU. I think our guys are excited to kind of turn the page and start looking forward to prepare for an opponent. But I've been pleased overall with what I've seen out of the three groups. It gives me optimism and excitement for the potential that this team has. But we still got plenty of work to do here these next 11 days.
So I think if people look at your team, they would, all the units, they might think offensive line is the most stable. You have so many starts and you guys coming back. I know you've got newcomers and other guys that are pushing. So is it not a foregone conclusion that you could have some different faces in there or some different array of playing time?
Yeah, well, I think the four seniors that are coming back, they've really established themselves, in their positions. I think that right guard spot is one where guys are continuing to, work in there. And then also, figuring out who's going to be the first tackle in the game if something were to happen to Trey or Dono. I think we're still, Darrell Bailey's making progress there. Mike Lofton's a guy that can play guard or tackle. And, obviously Lofton and Dustin Hall competing in that right guard spot right there. And then, Cole Best, I think for us, even though we feel really good about that first group, we also need the guys behind them to get some real game reps so that if something were to happen to one of the guys, they can step in and we don't miss a beat. And then also we're going to be losing 4 guys at the end of the season. So you want to try to find series and find opportunities, not all at the same time, but to let some of those backups get in there and get some meaningful reps. I think it'll help our starters stay fresh for the entire game in fourth quarter when we need to be at our best. And then also for the longevity of the season, being able to have some guys that can go in and take 10 or 12 snaps a game. So I think we're still kind of competing to see which of those backups are ready for that job. But overall, I'm definitely pleased with the OL group.
Obviously, the big thing for BYU last year was if Jaron Hall was going to play their quarterback. Trying to figure that out pretty much right up until game time. As you get ready for this opener, I'm pretty sure we all know he's going to get the start. A guy that really took the reins after Zach Wilson graduated, threw for over 2,500 yards last year. You should be getting your film study on him when it practices.
Oh yeah, he's a dynamic quarterback. I mean, you can also tell he's got great leadership. He's got command of the offense when he's out there. He's directing traffic. Obviously, a great leader, but I think he has a complete game as a thrower, and then also he's a big-time threat as a runner. And that makes it much more difficult for your defense to know on any pass play. You also have to be ready because he can take off and take it the distance. So, yeah, I mean, he's one of the best players that will play this year. We're getting a big challenge right here, right off the beginning of the season.
To this point in the preseason, Jeff, has there been anything that has, for a lack of better, maybe surprised you? It could be individual related, maybe team related, unit related, anything that's...
No, not really, and I think that's a good sign. I'd say probably in years past I was surprised, and there were negative things maybe that weren't good, but this group is about what I expected after the spring and summer that they had, the consistency that I've seen overall. There hasn't been a lot of surprises. I've mentioned a couple of names, guys like Matt Hill, Joe, Mike Dukes. Those are guys that really take a big step from where they were in the spring to fall camp. I mean, talk about Matt Hill's probably been the MVP through the beginning of fall practices, and he's done outstanding. And then Joe and Mikey Dukes, really stepped their game up. So those have been positive guys to see. But I don't think there's been any big surprises. I think we feel really good about Zach Sessa coming in as our backup kicker. He's been really consistent, strong leg, very similar to Spencer Schrader in a lot of ways there. And then Colin McCrary, who we brought in as a punter from Monmouth. He played football and baseball at Monmouth. He's got 1 year left. And with us losing Kenny Scribner to an ACL, we were missing our backup punter. Brought him in. He's been outstanding. So those are just guys that maybe we didn't know about until they got here and got to see them that have done well and helped me sleep a little bit better at night in some of those key positions. But overall, I think we're getting to a place as a program where there's not a lot of surprises, and that's really what you want, is just to be able to see the consistency at all the positions. So far, that's where we are.
As you study BYU and prepare, is the tape of Baylor BYU with Gary of any use?
I don't know. I think Baylor runs. We go some similar things, but not exactly the same. I mean, I think first of all, opening games have always been hard, and they're harder now than ever because of the transitions that go on between one season to the next, right? The old school model would be you lose your seniors and you bring a bunch of freshmen in and maybe you have one transfer come in. Well, now when you've got 10 to 12 to 15 transfers coming in, you go through spring, many of them are coming in January, so your coaches have a chance to go through spring ball with the new guys, and you may change and tweak some of what you do within your offensive defense for the group that you have. And so there's definitely, I think it's more difficult than ever to prepare for an opener. For us, I would say just the fact that Gary was one of only 3 starting quarterbacks last year that beat BYU. I think that just for him and our team, probably there's some confidence that comes with that. But overall, as far as the Baylor film being any more important than any of the other games, I'm not sure that it is. We're still working our way through each of those games. But you gotta prepare for what you saw last year, and then you also have to prepare for changes. Everybody's gonna probably 30%. There's going to be a different flavor. BYU does an excellent job on defense. They're not consistently week to week doing the same thing. They have a lot of variety within their defense between a 4-man front, a 3-man front, a lot of different things. Obviously, going against a new coordinator and us, they're probably going to have a different plan than they had last year. So, ultimately, you got to get your guys prepared for all the different things they could see. But really it comes down to us, locking in on our plan and being able to execute that.
Jeff, do you see this, excuse me, as a chance to see how your team measures up against a good team? BYU is ranked 25th in the country in the preseason AP. So
Yeah.
do you see it that way at all? Or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I told our guys this morning, this is a team, they've got about 19 starters coming back from a team that won 10 games. I think they're second most production coming back in the country. There's some people that have them, predicted to finish in the top 10 by the end of the year. So this is probably the best and most experienced team that BYU's had, since Coach has been there. So this is a very, very talented team that we're getting ready to play. And I think for us, it's an opportunity to see where we are. Obviously we, feel like we've made some, that we've grown as a team and made some improvements in some areas, but ultimately what matters is what happens in those 4 quarters, and we'll get to see kind of how we stack up early in the year versus an excellent team.
You guys have garnered some pretty good attention on your scholarships that you guys have given out. Obviously, the top golf for Josh Green, DeJuan Cease with his mom. Did you guys make it a point over the offseason to keep a few scholarships open to take care of some of those guys?
Yeah, well, I think I've tried to do that every year. Some years it works out that way, some years it doesn't. Probably with, again, so much transition now in the off season, you may have a couple more because it's hard to bring someone in, 3 days before school starts. Everybody's already in their fall camp. So I like to do that when we can. I was in that same situation. A lot of coaches were former walk-ons that maybe earned scholarships at their college experience. And I think for the players, the players know. They know which guys, which walk-ons. We're talking about several years of hard work and really, putting in just as if they were on scholarship, but they're paying their own way. And so for me, it's not only a joy to see that young man finally be able to reach one of his lifelong goals, but it's also fun to watch their teammates celebrate with them because they've been there together and all the early morning running and then lifting and all that. And to be able to reward a guy like that for a year, I think is a special deal.
Going off of that, congratulations, first day of school, and your players are students first. How are they balancing school while getting ready for this home opener? You said it's a giant transition, and that's really big.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing is, we have 4 goals for our players, and they're in order. And the first goal is to graduate. And so, even though it's easy to get excited with football and the season coming up, I made very certain in my Sunday team meeting to remind the guys they're here, and the number one reason they're here is to earn that college degree. Because that degree is going to be something that's going to be able to open up doors and opportunities that football will not be able to do for them later on once football is over. And I think for us, we have Monday as our off day. So for the players, the staff uses it all day Monday to game plan. But our players have Monday completely off from football. And the reason is we want them to be able to be a student for that entire day and not have to worry about any football requirements. And then also be able to get a head start for the week in the classes and all that. So, it's difficult because they have to balance both things. But, what I've told them is in order to become a person of excellence, you've got to be willing to give your best in everything that you do. And I've never met a player that was exactly what we wanted on the football field, but was a very average student and gave average effort in the classroom. You can't turn it on and turn it off. Either you're someone that follows through and you autograph your work with excellence in everything you do, or you don't. And so, that's really what I want to see. And I'm really pleased. We've got 20 of our current players have already earned their degree, and we've got 24 underclassmen that will earn their degree here over the next 2 semesters. And many of them having more years of eligibility remaining. So there's no doubt, fall camp, it's all football. Is really the only time all year where it's all football. And now it's that transition, and that was one reason that we took Monday off yesterday, so they can really get focused to getting off to a great start in the classroom.
And then you mentioned earlier that there's been some sort of culture change, you feel like, with the team. What are some factors that contributed to that, and is that making that transition to the first game easier?
Yeah, I think anytime that you